there's the voyage of life, kicking up storms in our midst, Jesus walking on the water, helping us reach the destination, Jesus having compassion on the crowds, providing a miracle of feeding their bodies and feeding their souls and feeding their hearts. Where do you go with it? Well, I decided we're going to go with what's called the miracle of the multiplication. It's the classic phrase for all of the food that was created by Jesus for his listeners. I brought in today a wonderful little box I got on my first trip to the Holy Land, which depicts the mosaic under the altar on the Church of the Multiplication, where some of us are going to have the privilege to be in just a few weeks. It's a mosaic of a basket surrounded by fish. In the basket, there are 4 loaves. Spot quiz. Did they get the number of loaves right? They didn't, did they? So typically the guide says, why did they put 5 loaves in the basket? The reason is, it's under the altar. 5th loaf on the altar. It's being shared with all of us. What a wonderful metaphor that is. It's very special, and it always takes me back in my mind to a moment in seminary where we had a very interesting New Testament professor. I was just scratching his beard like this. No, it wasn't a miracle, a real miracle of multiplication, or was it a miracle of inspiring generosity? Maybe all those people had little bits of fish in their pocket and little pieces of bread in their pockets, and Jesus inspired them to take it all out, and then when they were done, they felt guilty and had to put it in the basket, and that's how it all happened. Well, maybe we weren't there, were we? Maybe it was a miracle of inspiring generosity. But for me and for you and I, we also have to believe that it could be, and probably was, a miracle of mystery that we can't begin to understand, because it's one of those mysterious things, one of those mysterious ways God enters into our lives and shows us something special. Shows us that we are worthwhile, we are loved by God, and we're worth being taken care of by God if we open ourselves to how God would like to go about doing that very thing. Mystery, miracle, voyage, destination, all of these themes swirl around. And the one I'd like to share most specifically with us comes from one of the great spiritual pastors of the 20th century, Henry Nouwen. He coined the phrase, Docta Ignorantia. Docta Ignorantia. If you ever come to see me in my office, you probably won't have noticed this, because I have it on a windowsill just behind where the person I'm going to be talking to is sitting. Because it's a message to me. It's a message to every pastor. It's a message to all of us who seek God and seek mystery. And it was a message to Henry Nouwen that no matter how many thousands of people he encountered, no matter how many thousands of stories he heard of people coming and asking for spiritual direction, he said he had heard probably just about every story under the sun many, many times. But he needed to be reminded that every story was different because every person is different. It can be the same issue that 1,000 people had gone through before, yet every issue is unique because that person is unique. he was to sit and listen and engage the idea of mystery, of being ignorant to what he was hearing as though they were saying it, because he's never heard it quite that way before. He could bring experience from counseling, but he had to start with open ears and an open heart and an inquiring soul, and to be respectful of the person's uniqueness that was sitting before him. So that's why I have that in my office, and I share it as we talk about journey and destination and mystery and miracles, because I think so often when we encounter people in our daily lives, we don't remember, or it doesn't come to the forefront, that each of us has a mystery within us. God is working in each of us in a way which is different than any other person, because each of us is a unique creation of God. So as we encounter one another, as we go through the storms of life, as we seek Jesus to walk on the water across to the storm-tossed vessel where we are and help us get to our destination, let us know that the greatest miracle, the most wondrous miracle, is the beloved soul, the unique soul that is in every person. And let us celebrate it and nurture it and love it, because that is exactly what God intends us to do.